Okay, my little desktop stand here, I bought that on Amazon. I believe it was $15. It's a reasonable price. And this is a good stand because I've used the other kind and they just kind of fell over. So it wasn't really a good purchase. And I'm adding suppression blue to this. I'm going to rinse my brush out real good and go to the liner brush. Forget that. I think that I will go to the angle shader and put some more white in here where you find the paper around the iris. I made the mistake of drawing this in with charcoal pencil, so it's kind of getting messy. And I usually use Cerl paper if I'm going to trace. But I was just drawing this in, and that's what I found. So, sorry. Okay, there's a little green back in here. This little stippling here, you add a little green. Kind of make it inconspicuous if you can. The angle shader is going to be good for the yellow part of the flower. You may need to make it look kind of feathery, like duck fur. Now if you just have yellow ochre, just add white to it to make it a lemon yellow. I'm going to blend that in with the green so it looks more inconspicuous, like it does in nature. And there we go. Rinse my brush. Go back to the phthalo green and fill this in here. And add permanent green to make this darker. We're going to go over it several times to darken it. This is why I don't like square brushes, because it makes it difficult to paint in small spaces. Ever since I started painting, everything looks small to me. Now what I'm going to do is add some white to this cerulean blue to highlight the flower. Make it more of a color like it is in nature and make this painting look more realistic. Kind of went overboard with the purple here, so I'm going to try and take some of the color out. by dipping the brush in water and then wiping it on a paper towel. And coming back, going over it, and wiping it on a paper towel again. I learned this early on when we were just using black and whites in watercolor, and my black got too dark. So the teacher came over and showed me how to do that. It was kind of interesting. Of course, in college, you're always watching your money with your paints because they're expensive, and they'll take a big thing out of your tube and say, "You're not using enough paint," and then just put a whole bunch of paint on your palette. And as you're thinking, "Oh God, I can't afford to buy more paint," and there it goes. So I'm not going to do that to you because I'm not there, but I wouldn't do that anyway. I think it's a terrible thing to do that to students who are trying to conserve their money. And when I went to college, I wouldn't have been able to do it without student grants and loans. So, you know where I'm coming from. When I got out of college, I owed them $100,000. I'm still paying it off. So you understand why I charge a little bit for my traceables, because it's not much. Some people charge more for them, but I'm going to be reasonable because I know most people are hurting right now with this crisis going on. And we are watching our money and our paychecks and our savings, and we're watching them dwindle. Like me, who's a teacher, I don't get paid unless I teach. So I know how you feel right now. I'm going to get a little cerulean blue out of my palette. Now if you want to separate the paint from the wells in your palette, get a little palette brush, a little plastic one, costs about 69 cents, and put the paint on the palette so you can mix it and add water. I'm just going to keep adding cerulean blue until it gets to the color I want it. Okay, let's go to the cobalt blue and add that to the purple area of your bud. Make it look more realistic, of course. And I don't know why I added blue to the green area. I'm going to have to go back in and correct it. That charcoal pencil really messed it up for me. I think we'll add a little ultramarine because it's a darker blue. And it blends well with the purple. So it does add good shadow. Now you have to dip your brush in water a lot with watercolors. That's what gives it the mystery of the watercolor. And every once in a while, just go rinse your brush. You get excess paint out of it. And when you are done painting, make sure you rinse your brushes in cold water with soap. I prefer Dawn because it does get grease out. And I've known people who used Dawn after they couldn't get a stain out, and it came out for them. So that is some remarkable stuff. I use that on my dishes. If my son brings home palm olive, I quickly replace it with Dawn. He works at a 7-Eleven, so he'll sometimes bring home things in this age of not being able to find anything on shelves because people are hoarding. Okay, we've got some leaves in here. And I'm going to go over it with phthalo green. And with watercolors, it isn't the blue phthalo green or the yellow phthalo green, it's just phthalo green. Plain and simple. Same with phthalo blue. You can mix phthalo blue and phthalo green and get turquoise if you do it in equal proportions. I've got turquoise in my palette because I just got tired of trying to mix them right. The idea with painting is you want it to look realistic. Like if you walked outside and you saw their perfect being in nature. Okay, I'm going to add some permanent green. I think there's some viridian mixed in with that. And add it to the leaf because they tend to be darker. I know iris leaves are always darker. My mom's were. She's gone and there's nobody in Michigan anymore, but I remember her flowers quite well. I had a rabbit that used to go out and eat them. He really enjoyed her mums. That's all I can say, much to her complaints. There's a little leaf in here. Jen, Snoopy's eating the mums again. Well, what do you want me to do? It's a rabbit. And that was my rabbit's name, Snoopy. I had a thing about Snoopy back then. Snoopy and the Red Baron. Of course, there was a real Red Baron. He was a German pilot. And the reason we know that is because he took out a lot of forces. He was a very good pilot. Yeah. Nobody liked him. I don't know why. Nobody likes somebody come in and destroy their homes or their bases. That's always a sensitive point with my family because my family is French and German. And I'm going to add a little bit of white to those greens in certain areas because the sun is hitting it. And it's a very bright day out in my world. Right now the sun is full force out there. We have western windows, and the sun always sets in the west, and it's very hot when it sets. So it always makes me unhappy. That's when the air conditioning goes on around 3 or 4 o'clock. Oh, and at some point you're going to meet my cat Pepper. He likes to join me on the table. Because, of course, the table is his favorite spot to lounge. And if my painting is there, he'll be there. I just have to keep him away. Kind of like our local weatherman. He has a St. Bernard. And if he doesn't bring him out for the people when he does his weather broadcast, people get upset. His dog gets mail. I don't know, Pepper will get mail, but he's a pretty good cat. My cat before that was Sheba. She was a tuxie, and she was a lady's cat. Pepper is a boy's cat. He likes men. How do I know? Because he sits on my son's lap and not mine. It really upsets me. I'll try and keep my fat face out of here. Right now it's a little swollen because I've been having to take steroids. Rinse my brush and I can go back to the white. Get some more white in here. White with a little blue. Because white always shows up with blue tinges in nature. I don't know why, especially with snow. I got some video of it hailing here. It rarely hails in California. So, I'm a weather enthusiast, so when you see one of my weather videos, you'll figure that out. I'm surprised I didn't become a tornado chaser because I'm fascinated by those things, but I am not going to live in Oklahoma. And I'm not going to be dumb enough to go out there and chase them. Let the professionals do it. Reason I didn't go into science is because I have a learning deficit. It's a disability when it comes to numbers. And when I try and work with them, my brain freezes. It's just like my brain hurts. It really does. And my doctor said that is because I don't have a dominant side of the brain. Thanks, Mom. Or I would have gone into astronomy. I love the planets in the universe. Or perhaps physics. But I didn't have the math skills. Makes me wonder what my mom did when she was carrying me. Okay, I think it's shaping up pretty good. I'm not going to be like another artist I know with her acrylics and keep you on for 3 hours because everybody starts falling asleep. We know in education that if you talk for more than 15 minutes, people get bored. They start looking at their rings and fiddling with their earrings, and that's when you lose them. So I try to keep lectures really short because you see people start fiddle and complain that their backs hurt. And I have to be mindful because we are all seniors in that class. Okay, I think I'll save the touch-up for another day. I will come back and we'll do that with some more shading and more highlights, and I will let you go. This is what it looks like now. I hope you like it, and be gentle with me.